We'll start recording it now then.
Yeah, I've
Boop.
started recording
Okay,
just now as
it's
well.
recording. Pog.
Oh,
Pimp chimpin'.
Pimp
oh,
chimpin'.
that's cringe. Don't ever say that again.
I mean, I'm kind of cringe, so.
Are you?
Mm-hmm. All right. So, what was the first topic, Midnight?
Okay, so Illuminado, you run
Yeah.
a server called Punchwood.
Mm.
How is it like owning the server?
Well, it's interesting because every single server I happen to either own or be a part of a staff member on, it's always different. Every single time, it's a totally different experience. Like the server before Punchwood, Project Jumbo, was way different than Punchwood. And I guess that's partly because there's different features and partly because the game is changing and all the players are changing too. But with Punchwood, it's a lot more laid back than Project Jumbo was as far as like management, because everything's pretty much under control without me having to be on there, besides like ranks, which is pretty nice. So recently there hasn't been much I have to do on the physical server. There's just been a lot of configuration and console stuff that I've had to check on, but that's about it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How do you feel your staff are doing? Your current staff.
You're really putting this on me right now. You're really
Current staff.
Yeah. Viewers, we don't know. Midnight and Owen are staff members on Punchwood, and they're really doing this to me right now. So for certain staff, I'm just gonna say names here because it's honestly not that bad. For certain staff, like Poofy, I really wish like they were on more. But he is my brother, so he does have other things to do. But he's kind of become like this mythical legend sort of thing because he's never online. And then other stuff I feel like focus too much on one specific thing to work on. Which is sort of like some staff like building, and that's what they do. Some staff like catching X-rays, and that's all they do. But I kind of wish, and this goes for every single staff member, would just kind of do many things. And I've also noticed with not just like one person, but everybody, a sort of I don't know what the right word is for it. I guess like a sort of lack of interest in ranking people up. And I know sometimes it can get repetitive because the way our rank up system works is the staff member checks different like tasks that the player did to make sure they're complete, and then ranks them up and does an announcement, and it's a whole thing. But recently I've seen certain staff members, instead of like actually like putting time into it, just sort of going, okay, you have a house, cool. You have a farm, cool. Congrats to our next farmer blank. And it's not even like, sometimes they just totally skip over steps because of it. So I just kind of wish rank ups were taken more seriously. But other than that, the staff were great. We haven't really had to deal with too many hackers or too many like people using X-ray or people using doing griefing and stuff like that. And because, or I haven't at least, because a lot of the staff members who are online take care of it real quick, which is really nice.
Yeah, sorry I can't get on more, but I now have a life, unfortunately.
That was more directed towards Poofy.
I know,
don't
but
worry.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Owen, got anything to say? Anything to ask?
Yeah. I find everybody, every staff, until I figured out what happened recently with one staff. Other than that, I mean, everything. I'm good with other staff. I'm good with the players. So, and we haven't had actually X-raying and hacking, at least what I've seen recently. So.
Well, yesterday, because our server's public and we're on this like public forum, which basically like a server finder, we had two people join the server at the same time. They played normally for a bit, and then right in front of one of our players just started flying around like to troll them. And I joined, and I expected them to like leave, so I couldn't IP ban them, because you can't actually ban an IP that's offline the server. Because they're hacking, they're fly hacking, I have to IP ban them. They might have alts or whatever, or they might be using cracked, whatever. So I thought that they would leave, but they didn't. They just sort of flew around me and like started like doing that head thing that goes all over the place, that hack, and they weren't even doing any damage. Like they're like, the only grief was one block broken, and then he put it back. There was no X-ray. They were just flying around and derp hacking. It was like really stupid. So either
Yeah.
they were just doing it because they thought it was fun, which I mean, okay, it's not gonna last long. You're gonna have to find another server. Or they were really, really young, and I'm gonna have to say it's the second one because I think one of their usernames was like Minecrafter like 4 and then like Eva, and then with like numbers at the end, and that sounds like a kid to me, but I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's
Okay.
kind of dumb. Yeah.
yeah, and our anti cheat is interesting because we can't afford a paid anti cheat. The only paid anti cheat out there is like I think it's like $45. It's pretty crazy, or something like that. So our current anti cheat doesn't actually stop most of it. It stops X-ray and stuff like that, but it informs us when things are happening, so we can take care of it, which is nice.
This is just something, you know.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
and the
it's not broken, you know, and it doesn't
yeah,
work.
and the anti-swear is nice too,
Yeah.
for sure. They haven't had to deal with spammers.
Hmm. Yeah.
We used to have that all the time. That was a problem.
Okay. Okay. Uh, Justin, how do you feel your time as staff?
Did you just call me Justin?
Yes, I did. That's my bad. Owen.
So, at least from the time I was staff, which was like a week ago, Illuminado was just like, oh my god. Um,
Oh, and I feel like for this question, you should go back to like when you were first ever staff member.
so when I was first ever staff, which was like, like Punchwoods, that was like September.
Project Jumbo.
Or Project Jump. Yeah, Project Jumbo. Sorry, I don't know why I said that.
Yeah.
Um, it was different because I wasn't used to it being staff, and then
Mhm.
I got kind of used to it because I just was like, okay, I had to like figure out how to do things. For example, if there was a hacker, I had to do the CO command, which was really hard to learn because I was like, wait, do I do this and this, and it was just all over the place. But then I got to
Yeah,
learn.
corporate tech's confusing
Yeah,
for sure.
and then I
If you
learned
think-
it, and yeah.
If you think corporate tech's confusing, go into like the configuration for it. Oh my god, it sucks. Config files are usually pretty easy, but the two hardest ones I've had were Core Protect, and I think it was Jobs. Jobs was a really hard one to configure. Yeah. No, but it's interesting because being staff member and being owner on a server are like totally different. You know, it's interesting because as a staff member, you feel like you have a lot of responsibilities, and the owner just like doesn't do much. But that's not the case for literally any server I can think of. That's like an actual serious server. Like when I was staff member back on Infinity Craft, I forget which player it was. It wasn't a player. It wasn't a staff member. It was a player. But this one player was asking me like, why is like the admins and the owner like never doing anything, and why is it always you guys? Because the staff members take care of a lot of the stuff physically on the server, and the owner does stuff in console. Turns out a lot of the times where like the owner on Infinity Craft wasn't on, it was because they were like buried in configuration files. And it's still like that to this day. Like you'll see him AFK all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I really should have thought of more topics. I'm never prepared. I'm never.
Well,
prepared.
I have a few things server related I can bring up.
All right. Well, we need ideas, so go right ahead.
Was there ever a server like when you go? Well, first of all, when did you guys first start playing Minecraft? Like what version?
So
Before sprinting, that's all I can remember.
Before sprinting, so it was like beta then.
yeah, I was playing before sprinting, but I was like 4, and I was on my cousin's
Okay.
computer.
What-
So
Do you guys remember how old you were when you joined your first server?
well, probably. I mean, it was Infinity Craft. I really
That was your
participated
first
in
server?
well, I played on Hypixel and stuff.
But
But
like actual like SMP thing. Wow.
yeah, I've
So
never really.
So none of you guys really have that. Okay, so oftentimes you'll find survival server owners making servers because of servers they used to play on. It was the case with Allies and Infinity Craft. It was the case with this other. I already forget the name of the server. But it was also the case with me. So I used to play on this server called Eggleboggle Craft that was around from like 1 point. I think it was like late beta actually. I can't officially remember, but I joined at 1.2. Was when I joined Eggle. So I joined Eggleboggle Craft. The head owner, Eggleboggle, I found out he was my age. He was really young. I'm like, people were like, how does this kid run the server? Well, he doesn't. His dad did, Savius70. But it was still a great server. It was a really great community, and a lot of the stuff on Punchwood reflects Eggleboggle Craft. Like, a lot of the ranks are similar. Like there's like deputy and citizen and stuff like that. Um, the economy is similar. It's not the same. I think diamond's like $200 on Eggle or something like that. But yeah, Egglebogglecraft was like the first server I played on, and it was one of the first servers to officially establish a small community. It wasn't just a server that you log into and then log off of. This was one that you come back to that wasn't like a big minigame server like every day for hours. And that's what we've seen with Punchwood, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't play survival much, but the community on Punchwood is very nice. Like they'll always welcome you back.
Yeah.
They'll always tell you how much fun they're having. If you need something, someone's always there to like, hey, I've got this item. If you
Right.
need it.
Yeah.
It's interesting with Punchwood because there are certain players who are too nice and they don't express concerns, like up front, and then they wait until the last minute and it turns into a problem. But then there are like especially with like the world being changed, because right now we just did a world change, so we have our main world, which is fresh start, and we have the old world, so you can go back and forth, but the items and inventories are different. Economies are the same, ranks are the same, but items and inventories are different. It's like a compromise. You can go back and forth because certain players didn't want to lose that world because of what they built. So, the players who even voted to keep the old world and also make a new world are upset with their outcome that they won, and it was confusing to me at first. But I had to do a lot of changing because as we experimented with multiverse, there was a lot of problems. We had a problem with the nether portals. It goes to the old world and it screws up inventories. Inventories were messed up. Homes weren't being set correctly. Villager breeding wasn't working in the new world. So at the end of the day, I basically just said, guys, I'm going to be real. You guys can play in the old world, but I really, really prefer in the new world so we don't have to worry about these errors and we can just keep this world for good. But then again, it's what they voted, but they didn't express their concerns until the vote was done. And that I feel like is kind of concerning about certain players on Punchwood.
Well, this is now people hopefully will see this. When you have a problem or a concern, bring it to immediately. Don't wait.
Yeah,
So
and I've said that like when people do it, and unfortunately, oftentimes, and it's not everybody, but when you think of like the basic Minecraft community, like Minecraft player, like when you think of that just basic image of like a kid playing Minecraft and like getting frustrated at like parkour and PvP. Unfortunately, there have been like some people like that who have come to me with issues, and I tell them I can't help you. This happened like 2 weeks ago. Like there's nothing I can do here. And then there's people who really, really like the idea of the whole voting thing. Because on Punchwood, I feel like it's different than most servers because we don't really add big features unless it's like important without doing votes. So all of our Discord members vote on the features being added. That was because people wanted that. But the same people who wanted the voting, when their vote loses, they say, okay, no more voting. The staff should just decide. It's like, really? You wanted this. Like, this
Yeah.
is your idea.
Yeah.
that's
So,
that's kind of that's just toxicity too, because like
yeah.
you
It
can't
was,
have two things.
yeah. And it's very apparent within the Minecraft community, unfortunately. And not just on servers, it's with like YouTubers too. Like if you look at I'm gonna trigger so many people here. If you look at my least favorite Minecraft YouTuber ever, Dream, his fan base does the same thing. And they're like kind of unfortunately right now, when people think Minecraft community, they think Dream's community because he's the biggest, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So his fan base just kind of does that thing where they want one thing of him, and then if he does it but doesn't do it exactly how they like it, they harass him for it. You know? And then when
Yeah.
he calls it out, they harass him for that too and threaten to unsub and cancel him. It's like, that's your fan base, dude. Get control of them.
Yeah.
That's not why I don't like Dream. I don't like Dream. I mean, I like Dream as a person. He seems like a funny dude. And you know, his friends seem like a cool group of guys and girls. I'm actually not too sure like how his friend group is as far as people go. But they seem like a good group of people as far as what I've heard. But my problem with Dream is that his freaking videos are always the same. Like his thumbnails are pretty much identical. His titles are pretty much identical. His video concepts are pretty much identical. How they're executed is pretty much identical. And the dream videos that are different from those, it's just ripping off a different creator. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So Midnight, I really hope you are also recording the audio right
I
now, just over, because my thing is now saying I have to pay to record more than
What?
17 minutes.
That's unfortunate.
So,
Hold up, hold
we
up, hold up.
got,
Give
man.
me 1 second. I can unenable it again. Okay.
That's hilarious.
So just stop. Okay, now we can just continue because I turned it on for a little bit, then turned it off, and then
Yeah.
so yeah, that's
I am,
funny.
There's
I am
nothing
recording
can
the
do about
desktop
that.
audio. Yes.
Okay, so you can just stop
Okay,
because
good.
I'm just gonna continue it. So
Cool.
Midnight will have to finagle around how that works, but
Yeah. That's so weird. though.
Well,
that's
it's because
whatever.
it's a music editing software. You don't usually record a 17-minute song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Usually just record like maximum, like my max songs usually like 4.5, 5 minutes.
fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've recorded the desktop audio the entire time. It's not too loud.
Okay.
But I can. work
Okay.
with that.
good.
Well, if you just have to use that, then that's fine.
Yeah.
So if you have recorded it the entire time, okay, I'll turn it off. I'll turn it off then again. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Uh,
Good to keep going. Technical difficulties.
technical difficulties. I'm recording.
Yeah,
my
they
audio
happen. They
separately.
happen
I've
literally
got
every
the
episode.
audio going.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's good. Everything's good.
Okay, cool. Let's keep
Okay.
going then. Sweet. Are there any other questions about server stuff or about anything else relating servers, or is it a different topic? Because you don't have to ask me just about servers. There's so much more.
Yeah.
I know. I'm gonna ask you one more server thing, if I can
Cool.
process the thought.
Yeah. Process it.
He's a computer now.
Yes, I'm twisted again.
Oh God.
How do you feel about beef between other servers and yours?
Okay, so there's a few different types of server beef that can happen. One is one player against one server, and that can go one of two ways. It could be the player going after the server, or the server going after the player. If it's a player going after a server, 9 times out of 10 it's uncalled for, because if it's just one player and the rest of the players don't seem to be affected, it's just a personal issue. It doesn't have to do with the server. But if the whole server is affected, then that's a problem. If a server is going after one player, 10 times out of 10, that's an issue. You can't do that. If you're a server, you can't go after one single person. And I'll start with that one, because that happened with me recently. As you guys know, both of you at least, I had a video basically reviewing a server called Ep.2. It was on paper, it seemed like a great server. They advertised stuff like Vein Miner, RTP, Set Home. It was advertised as an SMP, a survival multiplayer, right? Okay, I join it. My first criticism is the spawn, because the picture of the spawn they had on the server list was not the spawn they had. They just took it off of Google, I found out later, but I didn't know that at the time, so I'm just like, this spawn is different. I'm like, this spawn's really plain. It was cool how it was in the nether, but there were no signs telling you what to do, no like holograms saying, do this is what you're supposed to do. None of that. All that was there was a portal that would RTP you. I'm like, okay, so I RTP'd into the middle of an ocean.
Yeah.
And the owner, so my whole review is like, okay, this server has broken features. The RTP was broken. You couldn't punch monsters. You couldn't set your home. It was an SMP with RTP. Keep that in mind. No set home. You would lose your home forever if you die. Gone. Never again found. Because beds didn't work, I found out. Their vein miner and timber didn't work either. Everything was just broken. The staff team wasn't very nice. Or the owner wasn't very nice when... So basically, my issue with Ep.2 was they advertised it as a great server, but their server wasn't what they said it was. They just lied. Yeah. They just straight up lied to get players on, and it proved that it didn't work because I was the only person on. So I posted the review, and it was the first server I ever gave a 0 out of 10. It was unplayable. The only way a server can get a 0 is if the game just you can't play it. There's no way to play. So that's what that's. So you couldn't play Minecraft on that server. It just didn't work. Plus, they lied. So I posted the review. They found it. Got very upset. The owner sent his big group of friends, which was like, I think it was like 15 people, to dislike the video, but it was fine because I still had more likes, which, you know. But they all commented, like, RTP isn't broken if it teleports you into an ocean. If it teleports you into an ocean, they kept going back to the RTP thing, which, if you think about it, if you start Minecraft in an ocean with no trees, no food, you can't play the game. It's not playable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't RTP again on that server unless you go back to spawn. You can't /spawn, so you need to die. It's unplayable. The game just, you can't play it on that server. So, but they got really, really upset with me because of the review. And they all flagged the video and got it taken down. Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
They got
That's
the
what happened to
video
that
taken
video?
down for bullying.
Dude, that's not bullying. That's a review.
It's not. It's a review because it's a public server on a public forum. Anybody can go on there and play. Anybody can speak their mind about a public server. If it was private, that's different. If it's public, you got to deal with what people say, and you got to be able to adapt. Now,
Well, I would email it if there's a way. I don't know if there is a way.
I don't care. I got the strike removed. It's fine. They took care of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, but what ended up happening was I did another review, and it was on another server called Hobbit SMP. Now, this one was a lot better. This one was actually a really decent survival server. But the difference between, and I didn't give them a perfect score. There were broken features, and I called them out on it. But the difference between Hobbit SMP and Absolute Zero, a good server and a bad server, is Hobbit SMP's owner saw the video, commented, and I went back on later, and he fixed the issues for me. He fixed the issues I brought up. Just like that. No
Yeah.
questions asked, because in reality, they are easy issues to fix. And he did it. The server's better now. Like that, so that's the kind of beef where it's like a whole server going after one player because you don't like them.
Yeah.
You know? It's always wrong. 10 times out of 10. You should never gang up on one player like that, just 'cause it's a public server. Now, the other type of server beef, sorry, I went on a tangent there, but Absolute Zero, hate that server. But the other type of beef between servers is server versus server. Now, I've had this twice now. The first time was with Eggleboggle Craft. There was this one server that was super not well known. It was created by this player who got banned from Eggle, I think. I might be wrong on that. It was so long ago. But basically what ended up happening was they called the server... It wasn't called Eggleboggle Craft, but they called it Eggbog Craft or something like that. So
Oh my god.
So not only was it was just a ripoff. Like the spawn looked identical. The statues out front were the same, even though those players weren't on, they just basically copied the world.
Mhm.
And the ranks were the same. They even had the rank Farf, which is like a made-up word that Eggleboggle made up. Like, you can't get away with that. And the kid was like 13. So that's why there was beef between those two servers. That wasn't that big of a deal. Now, Infinity Craft. It's interesting because if you look, you can look at it from either side, depending on what people tell you. And both sides were justified in certain things, and both sides were wrong in certain things. If you look at the Infinity Craft stuff that happened with the server that I had, Project Jumbo, I wasn't even, and I'll just get this out of the way, I wasn't even going to create Project Jumbo. I had no intentions on making my own server. In fact, when I left Infinity Craft, I left their staff team. I was just going to find a new server to play on. I wasn't going to make a server of my own. I did because one of their admins decided to say, "You're power hungry," which wasn't why I was leaving. I was leaving because I had disagreements with the way they ran things. But he decided to say that I was power hungry, which, whatever, it's in the past. I forgive everybody for that stuff. But he decided to say I was power hungry and all I wanted was like commands and stuff like that. And he said, "You wouldn't even last like a week with your own server." I'm like, okay, bet. And I made my own server. That's the whole reason I created my own server.
I probably showed him though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them for being upset.
No.
Because in all reality, a lot of their players came to me, but I didn't say anything about it to them. I made a video about it on YouTube, but that's it. I didn't like go to their server or have people go to the server. I'm sure there were people who went over there and said stuff about my server, which I never agree with. Advertising is 100% not okay, and all of those players were dealt with accordingly. But yeah, I'd be upset too if one of my former staff members, like if one of you guys left. Let's say Llama, because Llama had like a private server for, which is totally fine. You can have your own server. But I'd be upset if like Llama made a big server, quit my server, and then brought my players over there, especially without the full story. Because I don't really blame Infinity Craft because they didn't have the full story. They didn't know what was going on. At least 100%. They weren't on our server. They had blues, but that's it.
Yeah.
There's no way they could have known, so I don't blame them for being upset. The thing that I did worry about is that even like a month or 2 months after that happened, there was still drama going on that was just super pointless, and we all agree on that. But it wasn't started by us, and it wasn't started by them. Their staff team didn't start it. It was their players.
And some of ours.
And some of ours. It was the players.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what caused the most drama. So it was community going after community, which was really pathetic. It's just really pointless. But since then, Infinity Craft and Punchwood, we have this like Discord server to discuss things that need to be discussed, issues or whatever. And I think we've pretty much solved all those issues. Players aren't really going back and forth anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like the servers could be together, and I don't mind if my players play on Infinity Craft. However, I do think that Infinity Craft doesn't want their players playing on Punchwood, which I feel like is kind of. I mean, I don't know that for a fact. I don't think that that's I don't think I worded that right. Because recently we had one of their players join our server, and they still play on both servers equally. So, but they got a little freaked out when that happened. I'm like, oh, I mean, it's public. I mean, as much as I agree with you guys that it's scary, it's public. There's not much we can do about it, unfortunately, as server owners. But yeah, that's what I feel like. The Infinity Craft, I feel like the Ego Boggle Craft drama was justified because of what the kid was doing. I feel like the Infinity Craft Project Jumbo drama was just super freaking pointless. You know, it was just it was the kind of drama that you look at and it's just like, dude, there's no reason to do this. And for a while there, and I don't think this is true anymore, but for a while there, I truly believed that the reason they were doing it was for publicity. I thought they were doing it to get players and to get like traction to the server, but I found out that that wasn't true. But I really did believe that because I was just like trying to wrap my head around some of their claims, and I was like, really? Okay. But that's in the past, so.
Yeah.
And that's you can't avoid that with small servers. There's always going to be those issues, especially with people who are staff if they leave and whatever. That's why I'm really happy with my staff team, because even the staff that like do leave, or even the staff that are like taken off the team, they're not the kind of people to go and screw with everything else.
Mm-hmm.
They may play on other servers, but they're not going to do it. You know what happened with Infinity Craft. So yeah. Oh, Owen's gone.
He'll be back.
Owen disappeared.
Off the face of
My
the
mom
earth.
walked in and I was like, "No, Mom, you can't. The camera's on." She's like, "Oh."
Are there any other questions you guys have?
Not off the top of my head.
None.
Well,
Wait, how did you find Infinity Craft? Actually, not thinking about it.
How did you find Infinity Craft?
I found it through Justin.
Oh.
Oh, Justin.
So
How-
Justin, me and Justin were going
Never
to the
mind.
same.
Never mind. Doesn't matter. How did you find Infinity Craft Midnight?
Oh, allies commented on a video.
Yeah, that's how they got their members, because they used to be a private server. That's the only way they could get their members. They
Mhm.
comment, say join the Discord, say you want to be a part of the SMP, and then we'll whitelist you.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant move for a private server. Not very smart for a public server, which is
Yeah.
why they've switched efforts. And I'm really happy with what they've done with their YouTube community, because it used to be like everybody was YouTuber rank. You could get YouTuber rank and you can have like one sub and the trashiest audio and trashiest quality.
Yeah.
But now you actually have to have like a legit, like you actually have to be trying. You can't just make videos because, hey guys, I want to get views, so let's just shit all over the camera, and you can't do that anymore. You used to be able to. There used to be some channels on there that were like YouTuber rank. I'm like, wow, this is YouTuber rank. Well, I feel special then, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they've done a really good job ever since they went public at cleaning that rank up. There's less people as YouTuber rank, and I think that's a good thing because if everybody's YouTuber, nobody wants YouTuber rank. It just seems like a pointless, you know.
It's like guests. It's just everybody
It's
has
just
it.
everybody has it. It's like having member.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if they made Monarch their biggest donor rank like $1, nobody would want it. It may have like good commands, but or nobody would feel special for having it, I should say. That's the thing about YouTuber rank. With Monarch rank and stuff like that, and donor ranks, you get commands, and it's really helpful. With YouTuber rank, you don't get commands, but you get like abilities on Discord to like post your videos and collaborate with other creators. And because not many people have it, and the only way to get it is to put in genuine effort, it's a true feeling of accomplishment. That's why I think the rank system on Punchwood is so great. Even though it's not auto rank up, you actually have to put in work to get ranks on Punchwood. They're free, but as long as you put in the effort, you get it. And I've heard from people that whenever they get a rank up, they're like, "This feels great. I'm happy this happened." You know, it's good. It's better than just clicking like a GUI and saying, "Oh yay, I'm builder now." It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's
Yeah.
it's a lot better because you actually have to like build stuff. You actually have to do tasks, and then you have to have a staff member's approval. And just the staff member's approval, as tedious as it could be, waiting for a staff member to get on. We usually have one on, but as tedious as that can be, it's so rewarding to see a staff say, "This looks great. This is really good," and then they do the whole announcement, "Congrats to our next deputy rank," you know, stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
feel like that was taken from Eggle Bottlecraft. I have to give them credit for the rank up system. Um, yeah, that's like if everybody's the same rank, it takes the whole meaning out of it. That's why YouTuber rank on Infinity Craft is so important. It's so great because you actually have to put effort in now, and it feels like an accomplishment. It doesn't feel like you unlocked perks. It feels like you did something good with your life.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
All right. All right. Switching from Minecraft server management into other things you do, you and Julian have a band along with a few other members.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So you had Julian Glisson on
yeah.
last episode. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so me and Julian have been in bands for a while together. We met in like elementary school, and I don't think back then we either of us had like an actual intent on playing music, like actually playing music. Like we did a few guitar lessons like at school, and it was those were terrible. Those like guitar lessons are, you know. So then I started going to School of Rock, and Julian started going to School of Rock. This place called School of Rock, not the movie, the place. There's this real place where they basically teach you music, but in a group setting. So not only do you learn the instrument, but you learn how to perform on stage, and you actually play real concerts. It's a lot of fun. It's expensive as hell, but it is a lot of fun. And so yeah, we were in shows in School of Rock together, and because we knew each other in elementary school and stuff, that you know, we hung out at School of Rock, and we started a band with two other guys, named Zane Adlam and I keep forgetting Theron's last name. I'm sorry, Theron. I know you're probably not watching this, but yeah, me and Theron, and Zane and Julian started this band called Envy, and it was terrible. We were ass. We were seventh graders. It was really bad, but Zane ended up not showing up at all. Theron ended up going and doing other things, and so me and Julian kind of took a break from it, and we wanted to bring it back, and so we found two new members. The legendary Riley Ponce, aka Mixmaster Cornnut, um, and Luke Willenberg. And Envy today is very different than Envy 3-4 years ago when we started it. It's a similar lineup but different instruments. Julian and Luke are the same on bass and guitar, but Riley was the drummer back then. And Riley is now vocals. I was vocals back then for Envy. And then they got this new guy, Aiden, who's kick-ass at drums on drums. And because Envy changed, I ended up starting a different band with two guys named Jack and Chris. And they were like some of my best friends in high school, like late high school. And so we started a band called The Community, which is what it is today. Except Chris ended up going to college, and Jack ended up not want to be in the group because he was like learning French horn. So we kind of split from there, and so I was like, who do I get in the band now? And I'm like, Julian and Riley, let's do this. And it was funny. So Julian, the way I got Julian in it is we just texted. It was like, hey, you want to be in a band? Sure. That was it. It was great. The way I had to get Riley was interesting because I hadn't talked to Riley in like 2 months, 3 months. He was really busy with other music stuff. He's in like 3 bands, plus School of Rock. So I ended up going to an Envy concert, my former band. And I talked to Riley. I'm like, hey, I got this new band. You want to play bass? He's like, sure. It was so awkward. So I was talking while my former band was like hanging out. It was like, oh, this is uncomfortable. But that's how the community as it is today was formed.
Yeah.
And then I'm also in another band with Riley and this guy, Cash Sneed, who I knew from school, called the Meat Sweats. That we're just starting.
Wait, what?
Meat Sweats. So
Meat-
Riley,
I was not ready for that name.
so Riley's band names are interesting, to say the least. But he has a band called the Rubbing Alcoholics, which is like a noise metal band. It parodies like the name kind of goes along. So it's a noise metal band. It's very loud. It's good, but it's very loud. Meat Sweats is supposed to sort of be like, I think he said it was like we're trying to take the humorous approach at music as like the band Pixies used to do. And then take the song structure and style of bands like Fugazi, so more like punk, like gritty punk, but mixed with like Pixies. And so the name fits perfectly for that style of music, Meat Sweats. It's a stupid name, but that's kind of the point. It's supposed to be like that. And so yeah, like some of our song titles, we don't know, we haven't written anything officially, but we've come up with like concepts, and we had this great concept called Herobrine Overdose. Yeah, you heard that right. Herobrine, as in Minecraft Overdose. And the whole point of the song, at least in my view, I don't know if I've actually pitched this to Riley. So Riley, if you're watching, here's my pitch. Herobrine Overdose would be a song about a kid who's so addicted to Minecraft that when his mom takes his computer, he kills her.
Yeah.
Oh
I'd
wow!
listen to that.
Okay.
Like he shoots her. It's like an overdose on Minecraft, and so when he loses his gaming privileges, he shoots her. That's the idea of the song. That's the kind of like dark humor punk music we're trying to go for.
Yeah, I'd listen
With
to
Meat
that.
Sweats, so it fits.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see that.
And if you want it like how the music is gonna sound, if you want to listen to like a few songs, you can listen to like I think it's Waiting Room by Fugazi, or you can listen to Peaches by Presidents of the United States of America, or you can listen to stuff like Where Is My Mind by Pixies, or like Debaser by Pixies.
All right.
That's that style of music.
All right.
Yeah, and the community is I don't think the other guys agree with this, but in my mind, at least with our first song, it's a mash of old school classic Nirvana, new Green Day, and Weezer, all kind of mashed into one. That's what I feel like our first song, Faded Memories, sounds like.
Faded Memories was good though.
Yeah, and Faded Memories is interesting. We wrote that in one day, and then like the next week or 2 weeks later, we went to Riley's house just to practice. We weren't going to do anything, but he had gotten this beautiful new mixing board for like recording, and so we were like, hey, let's record a demo. And the demo sounded so freaking good, we decided to release it on Spotify and Apple. But that's not the finished product of it. The song structure is going to stay the same, and the actual sound of it is going to stay the same. It's just mixing wise and recording wise, we're going to get that crystal clean when the album is out. And we have a lot of other good songs that we have planned. A lot of good concepts, a lot of good riffs, a lot of good drum beats. I'm excited because I play drums for that group. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we're wrapping up on 40 minutes.
Yeah.
a little
Usually
bit
like
more
40.
than that.
40. Yeah.
So
So Mina, actually, how did you plan on Freddy Craft? Just out of curiosity. Just
Yeah,
about-
he did.
he did. Okay. Yeah, I just was just like, wait, did he join on Punchwood or did he join? I just was just thinking about it.
Is he crazy?
Yeah, I think I'm.
My brain is hurting from that dude. Oh, he played on Project Jumbo too. He was one of the first players. He was the richest.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I was the best. Arguably.
And he's passed that richest torch to Amelia. Out of all
Yeah.
people, to get the richest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how she's
That's how it
rich.
is. This
Yeah.
is the way.
This is the way.
Just the way.
Oh,
Do
you don't
the
get that
way.
reference?
What?
This is the way.
Oh,
He doesn't
my
get it.
God.
Justin would get it. No one's
Yeah.
ever seen The Mandalorian, apparently. Wow.
Mm-mm. I have Disney Plus.
Aw,
Oh, come on.
There goes my
Watch it.
subscribers.
It's so
No.
good. It goes, oh, everybody unsub from Owenverse and subscribe to Illuminado. We have
Stuff.
we have the same style of content. We have Minecraft content. So actually, it's two different styles of recording, though.
I just do
But-
things.
I
And you actually
structure-
edit.
I structure and edit and script and plan, and
And I just freestyle because I like doing that.
I mean, it's almost got you to 100. So hey,
I should start scripting my videos. Yeah.
welcome back to Best Trends number 5.
All right.
Ninja says the F word on stream. To finish this podcast off, I'm gonna be listing my top 5 least favorite podcasts. Number 5, H3H3 podcast. I don't actually hate them. I'm just trying to piss everybody off.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that actually would be pretty funny though. Actually.